Hello there and welcome back. I've had a few weeks break whilst I've been moving home, moving office, and I'm now all raring to go for the new season that is autumn coming up. And this autumn I've got a very special mission, and it is to help as many people as possible deal with the effects of covert narcissistic abuse. So in today's video, I'm kicking off with a look at the various ways that being the victim, being in a narcissistic abusive relationship can impact on your business, on your professional life, on your overall performance. So I've created a very long list of all the different ways that being in a toxic relationship, particularly with a covert narcissist, can impact negatively on your ability to bloom, to blossom, to grow a business and to be the leader or the entrepreneur that you were truly destined to be. So the first point is diminished focus. When you are in a relationship with a covert narcissist, the abuse, the insidious abuse, has a very powerful effect on your way of thinking, on your clarity of thought. So it's really a frequent side effect that you find it difficult to focus because your brain is being pulled in so many different directions by the gaslighting, by the other traits that the narcissist will display. So it becomes really difficult to focus on your business, to create business plans, and to grow as you intend to grow. It also reduces your creativity flow. We tend to attempt to keep ourselves small or in a form that is pleasing to the narcissist in our lives. So we clip our own wings, or we allow them to clip our wings. And this means that we are not able to flourish and to think creatively, to think outside the box, to think of growth, because we are in survival mode and we are trying to keep on the right side of the narcissist. We don't want to antagonize them and create other problems in our life for ourselves, or maybe for children or other people who may be involved or impacted by the relationship. So that's a big one, reduced creativity. Low self-confidence is another consequence of narcissistic abuse. The covert narcissist will erode our self-confidence, and we will allow that to happen because of this enmeshed relationship that we have, and because we are led to believe that we are not sufficient in and of ourselves, and we gradually stop doing stuff and stop believing that we have the power and the strength that we once had. We are usually very, very strong people. But as a victim of abuse, that self-confidence, that self-esteem is reduced, and it has an impact on the business decisions that we take. We don't reach as far because we don't think that we can do it. And similarly, we feel trapped in the relationship as a whole because it has taken away that independence and that confidence that we probably once had. Certainly we had it way back in our early years, but maybe even a few years ago before you became entangled in this narcissistic relationship. All these factors lead to ineffective decision making. Our brain is rather muddled, as I said before, pulled in all different directions. We don't have that clarity, so we can't make the quick, effective decisions that are going to help us grow our business. Distrust of others is another biggie. Throughout the narcissistic relationship, we learn to distrust or to mistrust the narcissist, and that has a ripple effect in terms of our ability to trust other people in our business world, maybe not trusting people in our business network, not having trust or faith in collaborators. Once we start to realize that we are in an abusive, narcissistic relationship, then this clouds our judgment for quite some time. We can see potentially narcissistic traits in so many people. So this makes it difficult to trust the people that we should be connecting with in order to grow our business. Fear of failure is something else that impacts on us. We may already feel that we have failed at a relationship, although, as I will explain in other videos, that narcissistic relationship is not a failure on your part, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that you could have done to make it work. But somehow we do, in many cases, believe that we have failed at something, and that sense of failure and the fear of failing in other areas can extend to our business, and again reduce those critical decisions that we need to take, because we are afraid of making a mistake, afraid of failing. So we tend to be a bit like the rabbit caught in the headlights. We don't do anything because we don't believe that we are going to make the right decision, and we're afraid of the consequences. Similarly, procrastination can ensue for many people. That fear of failure can mean that we just stay as we are, or we put things off, or we think, well, when I'm feeling a bit stronger, when things are clearer, I will do X, Y, and Z. And before we realize it, we have put off doing a lot of steps, taking a lot of actions that are going to push the needle forward. So we're either stagnating or we're going backwards instead of forwards. Difficulties in setting boundaries happens when our boundaries are totally disrespected in a narcissistic, abusive relationship. And that really blurs the lines for us, because no matter how we tried to reiterate our boundaries and to let the narcissist know that our boundaries were being transgressed and this wasn't acceptable to us, the narcissist doesn't care about that. And we end up shifting our boundaries to accommodate them, to keep the peace, which is another big impact that the abuse has. We end up resorting to defensive measures. So our boundaries are all over the place. And just as being able to trust other people in our business relationships, we also need to have clear boundaries in order to create that space for ourselves to flourish. And this is something that is lacking when we've been the victim of this type of abuse. All of these things and more besides can lead to emotional burnout. We become totally drained. And as you know, in order to grow our business, we need to dig deep. Sometimes we need to have energy and have that drive. But if we're emotionally burnt out because we have just been firefighting for years, sometimes even decades, then that means we just don't have the energy levels that we need. Feeling drained and exhausted can lead to a loss of motivation. We may even sink into a form of depression, and then we get to thoughts like, what's the point? What's the point? I can't do anything. And we feel that we're in some sort of impasse, some sort of hole that we just can't get ourselves out of. So we lose that impetus, we lose motivation and our zest for our business and for life in general. All of these things lead to financial instability potentially, because if our business is not growing and we are not thriving, then there is undoubtedly going to be an impact on our bottom line, which reinforces this vicious cycle of feeling trapped and of not seeing a way forward, because of course financial freedom gives us choices and does give us the choice of getting out of that relationship when we have reached that point of being able to decide that that is what we need to do. But this can also take a long time, even once we've realized that the relationship is abusive and that we are in a relationship with a covert narcissist. It can still take another set of months or years or even longer to reach the decision to create an exit strategy. And all the while our financial health, if you like, might be diminishing, which further reduces our choices and our ability to get ourselves out of the situation. Impaired leadership. If you are a leader within your organization, then your ability to lead as you once did, to feel in control, to feel empowered, to feel strong, and to be a role model for the people who are reporting into you is also diminished. So without that sharp focus, that leadership at the top, again, your business is not going to be able to thrive. Last but not least, your physical health is likely to be impacted by being a victim of narcissistic abuse. The stress that you may experience, that you will experience, I should say, when you are in a toxic relationship is relentless. It's 24/7, and as I've already mentioned, it often goes on for years, if not decades. And the thing with being in a relationship with a narcissist is that we swallow down, we stuff down a lot of stuff. We stop speaking our truth, we stop speaking up, speaking out, because we know that that only creates more problems for us and other people around us. So this habit of internalizing our anger, our resentment, our confusion, our sadness, our grief, because at some point we begin grieving for a relationship that we once thought we had that actually never existed, but we are grieving because we know that we no longer have that, we no longer even have the dream. So all of these strong emotions, they need outlets. But most victims of narcissistic abuse don't let them out, they keep them in. And this creates enormous levels of stress that can impact on our physical well-being and create chronic conditions, chronic diseases, chronic health conditions. Hello there, really sorry, but the last part of the video I recorded yesterday became corrupted. So I'm jumping in today, which is why I look totally different, with the end of the video that should have followed on. So I was talking about the physiological impacts of stress from this toxic relationship. And there is a list far too long to cite here, but just some examples are high blood pressure is one, and all the associated potential diseases that accompany high blood pressure. Gastrointestinal conditions and disruptions and illnesses can occur. Autoimmune diseases, and even, many believe, certain types of cancer can result from an overload of stress within a toxic relationship. So really, there are some very serious physical consequences, and it's one of all of the above reasons are reasons to start creating an exit strategy. But the first step is to continue educating yourself so that you get really clear on what's going on. One of the ways you can do that is by downloading my free guide, 15 Signs They're a Covert Narcissist, and there will be some signposting from that document if you want further support. If you'd like to get in touch with me with a view to working one-to-one or to explore what that could look like, I will pop a link down below. And otherwise, by getting the guide, by continuing to look at other videos on YouTube and read up, you are going to be putting these pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together so that it makes sense, so you understand why you haven't been able to fix things and what you need to do in order to get your life back and get your business back. So thank you so much for watching. Sorry about the sudden change in video at the end. I'll look forward to reading your comments, your feedback, and otherwise take care of yourselves until next time. Bye for now.